Thank you, folks. Thank you. You don't want to miss this conversation that will really shed light on a lot of this film. So, folks, please, if you're staying, stay seated. Good. And if you're not, this is the time to leave. Folks, please welcome the director of the film, Ayelet Menachemi. Ayelet, thank you so much. And please welcome one of the stars of the film and the co-writer and much, much more, Elinor Sela. This is our I don't know, like our fifth Q&A in in a couple of days. I'm going to change it up a bit. I'm going to surprise you, but folks, if you could please leave quietly, thank you. That's if you're not staying. And I want to start by asking, first of all, beautiful film, of course, and
thank you.
And it's a film that we all need right now. We all need this, and for a lot of reasons. I want to talk for a moment about the ending, and ask you first of all, the big question: why does Marie come back in your mind? And of course, then also about your choices about the very end, the bookends of the film, and how that came to be.
We let the writer answer. She knows it all.
Wow, I think Marie thinks that she came to ask for forgiveness. But actually, she came for revenge. And I think that's why she lost so much. She lost her chance to
say goodbye, to separate.
Yeah, to say goodbye to Grazia. She lost her chance to meet her mother again when she's still with her conscious, you know. And this is the complex thing that you think you want forgiveness, but when you ask for revenge, nothing good can come from it, you know.
Beautiful. Thank you. It actually excites me. The film is so nuanced with so many details, and you don't spoon feed it to the audience. You don't explain it to the audience of like, you know, oh, here's the tradition. You don't even explain what Sheva Brachot are, with the 7 blessings, hardly, right?
There is one little sentence of Susan, the wife of David, that she said, with a suitcase, you know, in the beginning, she said, "What? You didn't explain the parents of Dan that it's now 7 meals, one." But this is you're right. This is the only explain.
So it feels like it's coming from this real world and this real life. And are these some things that you've experienced? Are these 7 blessings specifically, not the story of Marie, but are the 7 blessings? Is that how it goes for your family?
Yeah, I did it after my wedding because, you know, we are the Jewish Moroccan families. We are just looking for a reason to celebrate. So why just one night if you can do it 7 times, no matter what?
I mean, most couples, new couples, are trying to get away from their family as quickly as possible. Ayelet, I want to ask you. This movie has so many languages in it. And for you to direct that in all these languages, specifically, I was thinking about of course, Raymond Amsalem, who plays Marie. That's that last scene where she tells her family everything she thinks, and it's not even in Hebrew. It just somehow makes that even more powerful. Can you tell us a little bit about how that was to work with that and those choices?
Yeah, well, first of all, I don't know if it's clear of course, I mean, I hope it's not clear that none of the actors knew the languages that they speak in, except from Hebrew. They had to learn everything during very hard rehearsals for quite a few weeks or even months. So the groom, he didn't speak any French, for instance. So did his mother, no French at all. And of course, the Gracia and Hannah, the matriarchs, spoke no Moroccan, Arab, Jewish Moroccan dialect. One of them is from Syrian descent, and the other one is from Egypt. So they actually knew a different kind of Arabic from their childhood, which made it even harder. You know, like, you know, in Arabic you say binti, my daughter, but in Moroccan you say binti. And it's so nuanced that they had to be coached like really hard to get that done. So,
Sorry.
yeah.
No, actually, just now they came out, 2 men that were here in the film, Moroccan men. They told me just now that they are not Jewish, and they saw the movie and they say it was wonderful, and then they start talking with me Moroccan, and I smiled like this and I said, sorry, I don't understand anything of what you're saying. And he said, what? But you wrote this film. I said, yeah, but I don't know a word in Moroccan.
Well, when I read the screenplay in the first time, so it was mentioned in each and every replica, like phrases where it's going to be Moroccan, where it's going to be French, but we had to translate everything and turn it into phonetic Hebrew. When it's done, we wrote in Hebrew, and then they were taught the languages. But with Raymond Amsalem, with Mari's monologue, it was even more complex, because Eleanor and I, we both believed that this monologue should be in Hebrew. Because most of the time they speak Hebrew, and because we thought that if she switches to Arabic when she does the monologue, then there's something a little bit too forced. A little bit like, okay, I'm an actress, I want to show you now how, you know, how good I am with, it was just switching to it felt, you know, just not natural. And Raymond was insisting on doing this in Moroccan. And I said, no. What she did, she tricked me. When I came to, we had a one-on-one rehearsals. I came to her house. We were going through the whole dinner at David's house, the Saturday Eve dinner. And we get to the monologue, and then with no warning, she starts just spitting out the monologue in perfect Arabic, like she did it here. And I was struck, I was mind blown. It was so good, and it was so right, that when she finished, I said, okay, you're right. Yeah, we go for the Arabic. You convinced me. How could I ever think otherwise? Because
of course, it's the only place that I was mistaken. Okay, yeah, I was wrong. It's the only place.
She's never wrong.
No.
I want to take some questions from the audience too, but before that, I wanted to just ask possibly the crucial question of this. You put up the pictures at the end, and this is based on some truth and true stories and real situations of this happening. And you've shared here before. I'm already answering half your question, but you've shared here before that even last night someone came over to you saying that they've had this experience. Tell us more about where this comes from, why you wanted to put those faces up there on the screen.
Actually, it's based on true story from my family and Raymond's family, because we are second cousins, Raymond and I. 2 sisters of my grandmother gave 2 daughters to their older sisters. Simi and Msodi had 10 children, each one of them, and Rachma and Grazia didn't have children. So they gave them Marie and Ricky to raise them as if they're their own. And you know, in the beginning of the writing, I didn't know that they were 2. I knew just about one of them in our family. And when I called Raymond and asked her to join me to the writing, she was shocked and she asked me, did you know that my mother-in-law is also was given in her childhood? And I said, no, I didn't know. And then I realized it's more common than I thought. And when the film was released in Israel, I started to get a lot of messages from women from roots all over the world: Iraq, Iran, even Italy, Greece, France, Japan, China. And so it started from a private family story and became, you know, to a global phenomenon. So it's really, when we took Tiki Dayan, that played Hannah, when we took her to my aunt, to my grand aunt, and we asked my grand aunt, I asked her, why did you give your daughter and my grandmother didn't give? And she said, oh, come on, your grandmother, I had 10 children. Your grandmother had only 7. How can she? And so, you know, this is the story, and it's true story. And it was, for me, it was unbelievable, because me as a mother myself, I asked, how can it be that even a primal emotion like motherhood is culturally dependent? How can it be? I wouldn't give my child to my sister, and I love her very much. But then I started to realize that there is so much generous, and it's a noble act of giving, really. And this, like she said, this was the surrogacy of those times. So it's amazing.
Family has changed a lot, and I think there's obviously a lot of imperfections, and there's a lot of trauma there, but there's so much also that we forget in our family lives that we need to really think about, that they had in those generations, that we can't even begin to understand and appreciate. I would love to take some questions from the audience. Otherwise, I can go on. I have a lot more to ask, but I see one down here and one up there. Let me grab you right here.
Well, I'm curious about, in the story, this young child was, you know, went back and forth to the 2 families. Was that a common occurrence it culturally, that they knew and then they would, you know, they'd go back and forth?
Yeah, some of them knew, some of them didn't know. It wasn't an official thing, you know. Evelyn, that you saw here in the end, she didn't know until she was married. Her biological father didn't want that her uncle will sign the ketubah. So he said, I am the father, I should do it. And they told him, but she doesn't know that you are her father. So they told her. And she told us that when she was young, she felt in love in her brother, but she thought he's her cousin. So they went together to a movie, and his mother told him, remember, she's your sister. She's not your cousin. So watch yourself. So it was really, we heard all kinds of stories. It wasn't something that have rules, the same rules in every family.
We have a question up here.
I was just wondering about the lie, and how do you think about the lie in relation to the phenomenon of giving a child? There's one thing to give a child, it's another thing to lie to the child, and whether the child knows on some subconscious level that they've been lied to, and that's the kind of the core of the pain and the hard the difficult to forgive.
You mean because of Chaim was the... You mean this lie, or... Yeah.
Are you Michael's brother? Oh, you look just like him. Michael Ligum, he was the sound recordist on for Seven Blessings. He even won an Israeli Academy Award for that. And yesterday there was somebody who gave away the fact that you will come today. So you have a great family.
And he told you to ask that question, which is good. It's a good comment. But I'll connect that to really the beautiful element of the film, that it's really the psychology of being adopted and how that impacted these characters. And that's really what it's not about, it's all out there. The secrets are mostly out there. Sure, there was another little twist, but that psychological impact that's on Marie is really the core of the drama here.
But regarding the lie, it's just that there are so many variations, really numerous variations. Mostly daughters were given, but sometimes there were boys because there were more boys in the lot of the children, or there were twins that were boys. So a boy was given, but it was mostly daughters, and some of them knew and some of them didn't know, and some of them found out, and some of them felt something but didn't know. Some of them were given very young, so they had a kind of a very vague memory of something that was wrong there, but they didn't really feel. And we even heard stories of a girl that was given and she didn't know it, but every time she was coming to visit her biological family, which she didn't know was her biological family, she was clinging to her aunt, who was actually her mother, having some really primal, subconscious feelings of kinship that she couldn't even, So yeah, all these kinds of versions were there.
But I really wanted to show that it doesn't matter. But when you, like Marie, is looking for something to be angry about, so you catch whatever you can. So, but I think it doesn't matter. But she can't release anything. So she, this is the point, I think.
We have a question right here, and then there's one all the way up on top.
I'd like to come back to the first question you asked, but I don't think was addressed. What gave you guys the idea of having that man, the deaf man, open and close the film, and did it relate in any way to any experience or any family that you ran into? It's a very unusual approach. It worked very well, but how did you come to it?
Actually, there is something very special in this film, that there are non-actors and actors. And most of the non-actors, all of them, are members of my family. And Uncle Joseph, he's my uncle. He's the brother of my grandmother. And everyone is asking me if he's really deaf. No one is asking me if he's really an actor. And he's really deaf. And I had a very strong memory from my childhood that we are standing in funeral, and we are looking for Minyan, for Unit 10 men. And they say, oh, we don't have minyan. And I said, why? I'm a little child. And I said, yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then they say, no, Emmanuel, you can't count him. So I wanted to bring this to this film, and I wanted him to be the one, because I know Emmanuel, he's so clever, and I am practicing meditation for a long time, and I want the truth to come from the silence, like in meditation. So I thought, and actually we didn't we made auditions for this and we didn't find the actor, and we want him to be really deaf. And then Ayala told me, what about your uncle that you wrote about him? I said, no, come on. She said, yes, bring him. And the rest is history. And my grandmother, before she died, she told me and my family, don't forget Emmanuel, please. Continue, invite him to meals and to holidays. And I really want to shout her now, she's dead, but I want to shout her, see Grandma, I invited him for 7 meals, and he's in Hollywood and in New York, and it's amazing. But there are some members of my family here, and this is why it's so authentic, I think.
We have one more question up on top.
Just curious how long it took you to write this, and was this an idea you always had? And has the film been shown in Morocco?
Not yet. We really wanted to be in Morocco in Marrakesh Festival, but then there was the earthquake. So I hope now we can, I don't know now. But that's why I was so in shock that there were 2 men from Morocco here. But I'm very glad that they came. It took us, I think, the first draft took us half year. And then we worked about it another year, because Ayelet was also the editor of the script. For 1 year, more year.
I think it was longer than that.
Longer?
Yeah, all in all, the writing was like probably 3 years altogether.
No.
Yeah, from where you started. There was a COVID in the middle, so
okay.
maybe you kind of lose track during the COVID.
Yeah. No, I wrote a book
Yeah.
in the COVID. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, but then production was, once we got the funding from the Israeli Film Fund, so it went quite quickly, and then the editing took about a year. So, but it was a low budget film, and half the budget was cut because of COVID, and we shot it in 20 days. That's all.
And how many pounds did everybody gain? No, I'm just kidding. I want to close with one last question.
It's a good question. It is.
I have a more important question, trust me. You're on your Oscar campaign now. This is a film that, has, with everything going on in Israel, has more limited support than ever before. What can the audience here do to help support this film?
Well, I just want to start by saying that the film came out in Israel on September 7th. There was just 1 month of really incredible success, also critically, and so many people saw it. It was like 250,000 people, audiences that saw it. And this is like 250,000 out of a 9 million population in the whole country, so that's huge. And we were really on a roll, we were really happy, and then it won the Israeli Academy Awards. It meant that it's automatically going to represent Israel in the American Oscars. And then the 7th of October happened. And to tell you the truth, we totally forgot about the film. Of course, the film felt like it was buried. Everything was closed, no cinemas, nothing. But our minds were closed in the sense of, just recognizing that there's even a film that exists, because our hearts, our souls, our pain, everything was just, everything went somewhere else. And, within this month, did I tell the story about Kfar Aza? Yeah?
Why not?
You see, the cast of the film, I hope I'm not giving a too long answer, but the cast of the film has remained a family. We really, we we built a family for the film, but we created a monster because it just kept on. We just, all of us remained like a family, and this is a family you choose, not a family you don't choose. So we chose very well, and it's just, we're together all the time. We have a WhatsApp group, everything. So after the 7th of October, after a few 2 weeks of shock, we decided to do something like, many artists they just wanted to, come and visit and hug the people who were evacuated from the south. And there were all the evacuated people from Kfar Aza who were staying in a hotel in Shfaim. And we went there. And we were, everybody knew about Seven Blessings, so it was quite nice to meet people and just talk about other stuff. And then there were the tents where all the people who lost people in the relatives in Kfar Aza were sitting. It was like a camping site of Shiva tents. And we met with a widow that heard that we are from Seven Blessings film, and she said, "What? You're going to the Oscars. You bring us an Oscar. We need that Oscar for Kfar Aza, for hope." And I think this was the first time that we remembered that there's actually a movie, and maybe it's not that meaningless to try and keep on campaigning for the Oscars. And this was kind of a kick in the butt. So we just said, okay, we have to do it, and we have to do it for slightly different reasons than what we set out to in the beginning. So now it's a bigger thing for us to do it with less budget. So that's the thing, because, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, of course, was supposed to support this, and naturally and understandably cannot do this now, so we are kind of on our own. That's the thing.
So folks, help support, spread the word. There's ways to donate to the film and to support the film and to make sure that this film gets as much attention.
Let's say all of us hope. That's what we want, hope.
Yeah, we definitely want culturally winning and not just
A cultural win and not only a military win. It's just as important, and this is the future. Culture is the future.
Yeah.
We have to think about that too.
There is. I'm happy to get it to you. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
I know how
Thank
hard
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.